Alright, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from StreetScores, and I have some not so great news. We're having a great week, you know what I'm saying? And I have a lot of videos coming out that are also great. I'm gonna update y'all on some power rankings, how much we've skyrocketed up those from some national media members and things like that. But today, we have some injury updates, and most of them are not necessarily good. First of all, apparently, I think a future all-pro guard Samuel Cosmi has an Achilles injury right now. Of course, Austin Ekeler, but even Clelin Ferrell is also out versus the Cardinals. We already know this is only Wednesday. We play Sunday. We already know that that's final. I even have a clip of exactly when Austin Ekeler suffered that concussion. We're going to take a look at that. Also, Forbes is back, though. He's estimated to play. We're going to dive into all of that and more, but before we do, make sure you stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned for all of the content. Really appreciate y'all for staying tuned, supporting the channel. Again, for those of y'all who were wondering and who were asking about it during the live stream during that Beagles game, I did create a new Cash App. It is now StreetScores, $StreetScores with the S at the end. I really appreciate y'all. And I'm of course going to be live streaming that upcoming game against the Cardinals. Let's go 3-1, y'all. But let's focus on what's going on in this video. First, I'm coming out with a preview for that Cardinals game. So many videos. You see, this is my second video today. I'm working on film sessions for channel members only. Let's go ahead and dive into this video, man. Let's get it. Adam. And before we go anywhere, shouts out to Julie for the big time PayPal donation, man. Much love and shouts out to you. And also the message, really enjoying your content. Thanks for all of your work. HTTC, hail to the Commanders. Appreciate that donation. Again, if y'all donate, y'all already know when y'all donate on live streams, I'm gonna thank you immediately for everybody to see right then and there. But if you take the time to donate even outside of a live stream, I feel like the least I can do is thank you in my very next video. So really appreciate that, Julie. Now let's get to this content. Well, first of all, apparently, I think the biggest news, because the Austin Ekeler one, we already kind of knew this that night. He left with a concussion, and they already said he wasn't traveling with the team. We'll get there, though, soon. But I think the biggest news today, at least the most shocking news, was the fact that guard Samuel Cosmi is dealing with an Achilles injury and did not practice today. If for any reason he can't play against the Cardinals, who are also dealing with their fair share of injuries, specifically on the offensive line as well, then I'm assuming that maybe Chris Paul, I thought Michael Dieter, I see him as more like a backup center, but maybe they will move, because Chris Paul has been inactive every game so far this season. All 3 weeks so far, Chris Paul has been inactive going into games. So even if Samuel Cosmi would have, say, gotten hurt in the middle of a game, it would not have been Chris Paul who was able to step in for him. So, I mean, maybe he's active going into that game at the very least, but he may not be the direct replacement if Samuel Cosmi is not allowed to play and is healthy enough to go against the Cardinals. But boy, we need him. Please, this offensive line just started to gel. They just started to look really good. Brandon Coleman is developing at a very quick rate. That guy is going to be something special. That looks like a franchise left tackle. He still hasn't started yet. He's still getting less snaps than Cardinals Lucas. I think he literally only had one less snap to him in this past Bengals game. He's probably going to outsnap him in the game after that coming up with the Cardinals because of how well he played, how well he pass protected outside of that one time that Trey Hendrickson beat him inside for a sack. Outside of that, that boy Brandon Coleman balled out. I plan on doing a film session on him as well. Again, exclusive for channel members. If you're not one, go become one. But Andrew Wiley and Samuel Cosmi, more specifically to Andrew Wiley, that chemistry is starting to grow to the right. I told y'all all last year that, like, yeah, Andrew Wiley has not been good, but don't sleep on the fact that once we got to like late October, November-ish, Andrew Wiley settled down and was at least an above average right tackle. I wouldn't say he was great, but it just seemed like once him and Samuel Cosmi learned to gel, once they were able to do, there are just certain things that take time, they take chemistry, like learning how to pick up stunts, learning how to pass guys off from each other when there's like, they're sending more than we can block, who are we prioritizing, like little nuanced things that literally just come with experience and time of playing next to the same guy consistently for an extended period of time. losing Samuel Cosmi after we've just gotten that chemistry going with Andrew Wiley. I mean, that's going to suck because it seemed like week 1 against the Buccaneers, it's kind of like they reset their chemistry a little bit. But then Andrew Wiley, it's inevitable. He's going to get beat like once or twice every game. That just seems inevitable. Thank goodness we have a guy like Jaden Daniels that's ready to make it seem like it's not even that big of a deal. But either way, it seems like that chemistry that it took till November to get last year, it seems like Samuel Cosmi and Andrew Wiley have already reached that in week 3. So losing Samuel Cosmi will be a big loss because we just got that chemistry going. Just got it. And the rest of the offensive line looks pretty good as well. I mean, when you're looking at the 53-man roster, the only guy outside of Michael Dieter is Chris Paul, but again, he's been inactive. But again, I personally see Michael Dieter as more of like a pure backup center, not a backup interior offensive lineman where if there's an injury to left guard, center, or right guard, he can step in and either one. I don't really see him like that. So that if, and I hope this is not true though, but if Samuel Cosmi, for whatever reason, is not able to go in that upcoming game against the Cardinals, then Chris Paul will probably be active for the first time this season and may start. And I'm looking directly at the depth chart right now. There's nobody else. Cornelius Lucas is a backup swing tackle, but right now we still need him at left tackle, even though Brandon Coleman may officially overlap Cornelius Lucas for more snaps than him in a game the first time upcoming in week 4. I don't think Brandon Coleman is just going to completely play all 40, 50 plus offensive snaps that we may end up running against the Cardinals. So we still need him at tackle. And either way, I don't really like him at guard anyway. Trent Scott is a backup tackle as well. I don't ever see him playing guard. So really the only answer is Chris Paul at left guard, in my opinion. So I just really hope that Samuel Cosmi can play. I like Chris Paul, but Samuel Cosmi, again, like I said before the intro, I really feel like he has all pro potential. Now, he hasn't necessarily played like it this year. He's played very well, but he hasn't played like a top 3 guard so far this year. But I'm thinking with time he's going to get to that point, because last year, like October on, especially November on, you could argue he was the best guard in the NFL. I said he was the best player on the entire team, regardless of offense, defense, whatever. I think he's going to get back to that point. I think it just takes a little bit of time to gel. You're starting to see that chemistry grow. You saw it against the Bengals where Jaden Daniels had so much time to throw the ball for the vast majority of those plays. So, man, please get well soon. And when I say soon, I'm talking about this week, please. Now, moving on, just to let you know, it was already updated right after the game, like 11:30 p.m. Monday night after we beat the Bengals, that the Commanders were flying directly to Arizona after the game, and they're practicing in Arizona all week, and Austin Ekeler did not fly with them. So we already knew that night, Monday night, that Austin Ekeler would not be playing against the Cardinals. We already knew that, and that really sucks too, because we're losing impact not only in the run game, but don't sleep on him in the passing game and special teams. You've seen the special teams wise. He should have a kick return for a touchdown, but it got taken back due to a penalty that had no benefit to him at all. Like, it's not even like the penalty that caused the kick return for a touchdown to be called back had any impact, any positive impact on Austin Ekeler returning that pass. Like, even if that guy didn't hold, I believe it was Nick Bellore that did it, which is crazy because he's a Pro Bowl special teamer. That's literally what he does. He got 2 penalties in that game, and then we cut him right afterwards, I believe. I don't think he's even on the roster right now, but I could be wrong. But either way, that play had no effect. Austin Ekeler, even if he didn't hold, still would have had that kick return for a touchdown. And then against the Bengals, he had that one return that got us all the way to like the 30-40 yard line. And then that was like right before Jaden Daniels threw his first passing touchdown ever to Trent Scott. I mean, this guy's had impact anyway. And then, of course, running the ball, we just talked about special teams, but also pass protection wise. Now, shouts out to Jeremy McNichols, because he completely depleted. It looked like a WWE move that he put on a linebacker on that game sealing throw from Jaden Daniels to Terry McLaurin for that touchdown. Best play I've seen all season, arguably from anybody in the entire NFL. But either way, I don't think a lot of people noticed Jeremy McNichols, who came into the game to sub in for Austin Ekeler. He laid a beautiful hit on that linebacker, and shouts out to him for having the heads up play. The offensive line and him decided we're gonna get rid of and make sure we block, or at least in Jeremy McNichols' case, deplete anybody that's blitzing and coming at Jaden Daniels from the middle, because that's the shortest route to him. We'll allow that DB coming off of the edge because that's the longest route to Jaden Daniels, and you saw it worked out perfectly. The guy hit him as he was throwing it, but if Jeremy McNichols would have blocked that DB instead of that blitzing linebacker or DB, whoever was coming up the middle that he depleted, then Jaden Daniels would have had no chance to make that throw and make that play. And who knows, do we even win that game? Because then we probably kick a field goal, we're up 8, and then the way that they march down the field so quickly, who knows? We don't know. So shouts out to Jeremy McNichols for that play. I'm saying all of that to say that the team is still in relatively good hands, but he's not Austin Ekeler. He's not Austin Ekeler in the receiving game, in the running game, and special teams neither. He's a good player, and at the very least, he can pass protect. He can pass protect well, which is going to help Jaden Daniels out a lot. So the offense should still stay on schedule like it's been, but we are losing explosion and a lot of experience when we're not having Austin Ekeler. So I don't want to downplay losing him, but Jeremy McNichols is pretty straight. And then because Jeremy McNichols is now your number 2 running back, I'm assuming Michael Wiley will come from the practice squad and be your 3rd running back, which is really interesting because I loved what I saw from him in the offseason. I was even making an argument that maybe Michael Wiley should make the team over Jeremy McNichols, but I understand why they went with the veteran. But Michael Wiley, this is your chance. You may not play much, but then again, instead of like the snaps that Austin Ekeler used to get being, given directly to Jeremy McNichols, maybe they kind of split it up. Like say Austin Ekeler's due to get like 7-8 carries, maybe like 3-4 catches. Maybe they split that in half or something like that. Who knows? I don't expect Jeremy McNichols to just directly replace Austin Ekeler. I'm expecting a little bit more Brian Robinson. And I'm also expecting with Michael Wiley more than likely being that 3rd running back, he'll take some of the Jeremy McNichols chunk of snaps as well. But either way, we have a nice ensemble of talent in the running back room that can kind of make up for what we lose in Austin Ekeler, but nobody makes up for what we lost in Austin Ekeler. Because as much as I love Brian Robinson, he couldn't have made some of those plays that Austin Ekeler made in that game against the Bengals. So you surely will be missed, but it's just next man up. And Jaden Daniels even said that. He even said it himself, that it is now next man up mentality. He addressed the media earlier today, and he said that Austin Ekeler is a weapon that they won't have Sunday, but it's next man up mentality to try and execute the Cliff Kingsbury game plan. And I trust Cliff Kingsbury to also design a really good game plan, because Austin Ekeler was balling against the Bengals, but as soon as he got hurt and we heard that he was out, I know a lot of us were wondering, okay, can Cliff Kingsbury adjust around this? Can the offense stay explosive, efficient, and on schedule without Austin Ekeler? Because he was a huge reason why we were so efficient before he got hurt. And then after he gets hurt, it's not like, I'm not saying we didn't miss a step, but Cliff Kingsbury found a way to work around it. So I'm assuming going into this game, knowing that he won't have Austin Ekeler, I'm really expecting him to come in with the right game plan for us to still be efficient even without him. But of course, again, I'm not downplaying losing him at all. He will be missed. You will feel the fact that he's not out there, especially on special teams, man. But I'm hoping other guys step up big time. But Dan Quinn also confirmed to us, I believe that was yesterday, that not only did Austin Ekeler have a concussion, but he also has a laceration on his ear, which is why he had that Band-Aid on after the game. I'm hoping he gets well soon. I'm hoping this is not something long-term first and foremost, like his actual real health outside of football, mental, all of that type of stuff. I'm hoping he's perfectly good to go there, and I'm also hoping we can get him back as soon as possible, because I mean, the way that we beat the Bengals in Cincinnati, especially after being down 7-0 like we were, I'm moving into all of these games confidently. I mean, I feel like we should have a good chance against the Cardinals, honestly. Even Keyshawn Johnson and Michael Irvin said they feel like the Giants and the Cardinals are 4-5 win teams. The Commanders look like a 9-10 win team. These are ex-Cowboy greats saying this. So I'm fairly confident going into this Cardinals game. Fairly confident going into that Browns game, especially because we beat the Giants, and the Giants whooped the Browns. That game didn't even necessarily feel close if you were watching it. So I'm confident going into both of those games, but I really hope he's ready to be back by the time we play the Ravens. When it's going to be Jaden Daniels versus Lamar Jackson, I would love to get Austin Ekeler back by then. But either way, man, take your time, however long you need. Even if it takes longer than the Ravens game, do that, because I'm more so concerned about his health outside of football, of course. But also, if you wanted to know the exact play when he actually suffered this concussion, here's the clip right here. And what's crazy is that it doesn't even seem like the type of play that you would suffer a concussion on. It seems like a pretty normal bang play, nothing extreme, nothing to really think of it. It's crazy that he suffered a lacerated ear and a concussion from this play. But I'm gonna assume it was when number 24, it looked like he probably made contact with his helmet, and you could argue that maybe that should have been a penalty. That's helmet to helmet. I'm assuming that's where the Austin Ekeler injury happened. That's the only one I got right now. And then also moving on, not only is Austin Ekeler out due to his concussion versus the Cardinals, but also Clelin Ferrell, who's still dealing with the same knee injury that he's been dealing with all offseason, even though he was able to play against the Buccaneers the entire game and then play against the Giants for like half of it. And he was the only guy that had sacks on our team until we got 2 of them against the Bengals. Shouts out to Javonte Jean-Baptiste for getting his first one. And I think Dante Fowler and Dorrance Armstrong combined for the other one, even though it was really more so Dante Fowler completely obliterated that play. Dorrance Armstrong was kind of there to help clean it up. But either way, Clelin Ferrell, the only guy that had sacks for this entire team through the first 2 games, is out also against the Cardinals, still dealing with the same knee injury that has been lingering pretty much all off season. The reason he's missed a couple of training camp practices. But then when we went against the Buccaneers and he was dealing with it all off season, I was like, okay, I guess he's good to go because he's playing against the Buccaneers, but apparently it's more serious than we thought. So now he will not only miss the Bengals game, he missed some of the Giants game as well. Now he will miss the Cardinals game too. Hopefully he comes back as soon as possible, but other guys are stepping up. I mean, they even use Deron Payne at edge rusher sometimes. Like, it was literally Johnny Newton, Jonathan Allen at defensive tackle, and I think Deron Payne had like 8 or 12 snaps at defensive end in place of like a Clelin Ferrell. So similar to like Austin Ekeler, it's not just going to be one guy that completely steps in their place and gets the exact same amount of snaps that guy would have gotten if he could have played. This is going to be split up amongst a lot of different people. So now with Clelin Ferrell out, that means Javonte Jean-Baptiste may play a little bit more. That means Deron Payne may move to edge rusher a little bit more. That may mean that Dante Fowler plays a little bit more. You definitely notice Dante Fowler more in that Bengals game than any other game so far this season. So it's kind of like replacement by committee in a way. But either way, Clelin Ferrell not having them sucks as well. But the one good news that we did get from this injury report, now granted it's Wednesday, so there's a Thursday practice, there's a Friday practice, and then we'll officially know everything by Saturday once they make their practice squad moves, who they bring up. I'm assuming Michael Wiley will definitely be one of those. But and then the fact that they're not putting either of these guys on IR does seem like at worst the injuries should, at worst be like a couple of weeks long with that they're dealing with it. Not something we got to worry about long term. At least we have that. But on the positive side, we have Emmanuel Forbes, the corner, first round corner 2023 draft pick. He is now expected to not only practice this week, but play this week. He was limited towards the end of last week's practices. Now he should be good to go. Now, if you're looking at the injury report, as you can see on the screen right now, he was a full participant in practice. After he got that thumb surgery a couple of weeks ago, he was limited last week, and now he is a full participant. So Emmanuel Forbes is slated to go. And I love seeing the fact that Johnny Jazon Newton is even full participant now. He only played 12 snaps in his rookie debut against the Giants. He played, I don't remember the exact amount of snaps he played against the Bengals a few days ago, but it was way more than 12. And I'm working on a film session right now to prove that Johnny Newton is probably already our most impactful and explosive defensive tackle, even more so than Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen. We'll get there later though. Make sure you stay tuned for that, especially if you're a channel member, because that's more than likely going to be an exclusive film session. But either way, this is the first time I think I've ever seen full beside his name in an injury report since training camp. Remember, this guy missed voluntary OTAs, mandatory mini camps, voluntary OTAs, all of this stuff, rookie mini camp, everything, and then pretty much almost all of training camp, all of the preseason. So to have full next to his name for a practice shows that he's a full go. The guy that we wanted, the guy that we expected when we drafted him, he's finally that. Now, there's no such thing as 100% healthy at the NFL level, but he's as close to it as you could possibly get. Again, a full participant. It is nice to see. But you also, if you notice, have Jamison Crowder on that injury report. At first they said rest, but then they later updated it to be a calf injury. So Jamison Crowder is actually hurt. I don't know when he was ever on the field to get hurt, but apparently he is hurt. And then Zach Ertz is just rest, so that's nothing to really worry about. Quan Martin and Benjamin St-Juste are dealing with elbow and a chest injury. They're both limited, but they were limited, I believe, last week and ended up playing every snap that they possibly could. I'm Benjamin St-Juste, I'm pretty sure, played every snap possible. He did against the Giants. I don't remember if he did against the Bengals, though. I think he's good to go. Both of those guys were limited in practice, but that's probably by design. That's probably them just being overly cautious. So I think Quan Martin and Benjamin St-Juste, don't worry about them. The only people you need to look at is, first of all, Austin Ekeler and Clelin Ferrell. When will they be back healthy? But most importantly, Samuel Cosmi Achilles injury caught me off guard, because I don't remember him ever coming out of the game against the Bengals. I thought he was there for that last offensive play that we had, so I am shocked. He may have even been out there when we did the QB kneel to go ahead and finish the game up. So I'm shocked by that. I'm also afraid of that. Hopefully he's good to go. Again, he didn't participate in practice on Wednesday today, but we'll see what it looks like Thursday and Friday. Of course, I'm gonna keep y'all updated with those, because y'all know even when I do videos and I'm talking about other things, when they give us those practice updates, those injury reports, I'm always gonna update y'all on those, even if it doesn't even relate to what that actual main video that I'm talking about. So hopefully when we get these Thursday and Friday updates, hopefully Thursday's limited and Friday's full or limited, and then he's good to go. Maybe at worst questionable against the Cardinals, and then he plays and then he balls out. That's just pretty much best case scenario right now. But also looking on the Cardinals side, they have their fair share of injuries right now. I remember hearing that they're like already to their fourth string right tackle or something like that. Their tight end is dealing. Trey McBride is dealing with a concussion. Defensive lineman Tonga is dealing with a knee injury, and a lot of their players are limited. Like Buda Baker's hurt, banged up. Kelvin Beacham's hurt. I believe he's trying to return. I don't think Kelvin Beacham has played this season, or at least he hasn't played much, but now he's trying to return. Dennis Gardick is hurt. Marvin Harrison Jr. is even a little limited, but I'm expecting him to play. And defensive lineman Dante Stills is expected to be limited as well. So these are guys that are banged up. We're banged up, but they're banged up as well, so no excuses on either side. And then lastly, before we get up out of here, shouts out to Tressway for, being such a great sport about this, because this guy has not punted in 2 games, which is an NFL record since the Super Bowl era, just to let you know. But also, he walked past the media at some point in practice earlier today and said, yes, I'm still on the team. Man, I love Tressway, man. He gave Jaden Daniels his number, and then Jaden Daniels did him a favor by asking him to never have to punt again. That's amazing, man. I absolutely love it. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in the video. Please stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, and stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned to all of the content, man. I really appreciate y'all. Do not leave this video without leaving a like. Of course, let me know in the comment section how you feel about everything discussed in this video. The Austin Ekeler, Clelin Ferrell, and Samuel Cosmi injuries, and the Jamison Crowder injury. Also, how do you feel about Emmanuel Forbes returning? Do you feel like he will be an upgrade to what we've been dealing with? Mike Sarver still technically started at corner for the first time against the Bengals. Noah Igbenogany started in the slot. Benjamin St-Juste, of course, on the other outside. How do you feel about Emmanuel Forbes returning? Does that move Mike Sanford still back to slot? Emmanuel Forbes at the other outside spot. We saw that Michael Davis is, I think, easily our worst outside corner. A lot of people were mad at Emmanuel Forbes, and then Michael Davis went out there and was even worse than him. So let me know how you feel about Emmanuel Forbes returning. Do you think that it will help this defense, even just by a little bit? So let me know about all of that. I really appreciate y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all later. I'm out.